So today I want to talk about whether we're going to see a reveal for the Black Flag remake at the Game Awards this year. The Game Awards are being hosted on the 11th of December in LA, and of course we can expect to see a lot of different games being announced, revealed, re-revealed, all of that stuff. So of course it begs the question, is this the perfect place to show off the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake? We're going to be going over everything we know today, and again, we're going to be speculating whether we will see this remake finally be revealed to us, and then, who knows, potentially released early 2026. This video is going to be a little bit more podcast style today, just because I've got work at my day job later, very shortly, and I just don't have time to edit a full video. But I do want to get my thoughts out there, I want to get your thoughts as well, so expect it to be a lot more casual than normal. But with that said, if you're new to my channel, The XL Live, and you like a chill Assassin's Creed vibes, consider subscribing and let's get it. Okay, so if you didn't know, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake has been rumored for months now, over a year at this point. We first heard wind of this when Ubisoft announced that they would be working on 10 Assassin's Creed games coming out in the next 10 years. Now it does seem that there won't be as many games as 10 in the next 10 years, just because there's been a lot of delays, especially with Shadows. But that being said, Ubisoft are not slowing down, they're going to be working on a lot of AC projects in the next decade, because AC is their moneymaker. If they didn't make AC games, then they'd have nothing to make, pretty much. Although I do exaggerate slightly. One of the projects that was not officially announced by Ubisoft, but reported on by Insider Gaming, a very reputable gaming journalism site. They reported that something known as Assassin's Creed codename Obsidian would be one of those 10 games. Now, Obsidian is rumored, also alleged by Insider Gaming, to be an Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake. Since then, we've had countless, I guess you could say, leaks or rumors suggesting that this is indeed a real thing. I've made countless videos about those, so has other YouTubers in the AC space, and it's got to the point now where it's pretty much the worst kept secret in Ubisoft at the moment. We are definitely getting a Black Flag remake. It's all but officially confirmed, if you know what I'm saying. Now, insiders also suggest that this game could be coming in the first half of 2026, specifically sometime around March, April, May, around that time. So there's two scenarios that I see here. Scenario 1, the Game Awards come around on the 11th, and they do a surprise reveal of the Black Flag remake. What that could be, it could just be a tease of a flag floating in the wind in the darkness, a little bit like Shay emerging in his CGI trailer for AC Rogue, and then text comes on screen and it says Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, April 2026, or 2026, or something like that. Who knows, maybe we'll also see some in-engine footage, maybe we'll see gameplay. If we don't see gameplay, maybe we'll just see panning shots of the Caribbean in brand new, snazzy, AC Shadow style graphics. That could be scenario 1, and we will delve in a little bit deeper on scenario 1 later, but let's go on to scenario 2. Now, scenario 2 is that the Game Awards come around, and there isn't an announcement for the Black Flag remake. We're all very disappointed, but then we get over it and get on with our day. Now, obviously that's not the point of today's video, but my question is, if that happens and we don't see a reveal at the Game Awards, it could be likely that we're going to get a shadow drop just like the Oblivion remaster for the AC Black Flag remake. For the Oblivion remaster, yes, again, quite like the AC Black Flag remake, to be honest, it was kind of leaked and rumored and a very badly kept secret that we would be getting a Oblivion remaster for a good few years. So when it did finally get shadow dropped, it wasn't a massive surprise. It was more of a surprise that it was shadow dropped rather than announced prior, to be honest. That shadow drop did wonders for the marketing of the Oblivion remaster. It seems counterintuitive. You'd rather have a run-up of trailers, promotion, stuff like that to get people invested, get people pre-ordering. But here's the thing. The longer you leave a game to brew in people's minds, the more faults they're going to pick with the game. If they're valid faults or not, who's to say? The Oblivion Remaster Shadow Drop avoided all of this. It just dropped, it looked brand new, it had new animations, it looked pretty good, people loved it, and then the marketing ramped up when the game was already out, and there wasn't that breathing room for people to start thinking, but is it good? Is it as good as ES6? Why aren't we getting ES6, you know? Bethesda actually skipped out on a lot of criticism for their performance issues for the Oblivion remaster, because there are a lot of performance issues for that game, notably on PC, and there's not a lot of talk about it, but that's in Bethesda's favor, right? So going back to the Black Flag remake, if they do shadow drop this, you know, in April, in March, whenever the game is going to come out, they release a trailer and then they say available now, they are going to skip out on a lot of criticism. Of course, if the game isn't good or it takes the good away from the original and leaves you with a husk of an Assassin's Creed RPG game, then of course the criticism will follow, but there will be no criticism around that hype, or at least that sort of release timeline, that time window. It will just be a lot of people saying, wow, Ubisoft are amazing for this. They just shadow dropped a full-hour remake. Oh my god, this is crazy. Props to Ubisoft, you know, again, regardless of whether the remake is good or not. So that's scenario 2, and I could very much see either of these scenarios being a possibility. Obviously, we're going to find out for at least scenario 1 in a couple days. But going back to scenario 1 again, the fact that the game or the remake could be announced at the Game Awards. Again, I do think this is a very plausible scenario as well. Ubisoft have not shadow dropped a game to my knowledge in the past. They usually do like their big windows to promote a game, to get discussion going around a game, because they like a lot of social media influencers and YouTubers such as myself, such as other YouTubers talking about their games leading up. It does build hype, even if a lot of criticism comes with that. There was a lot of criticism around Shadows, but at the end of the day, it did sell, to my knowledge, pretty well. So I could see Ubisoft being a little bit too scared to do the shadow drop formula and sticking with what they know. An announcement and reveal, a little bit of gameplay leading up, and then the release a few months later. So I'm in two minds with it, really. It also kind of depends on the scope of the game, right? If the Black Flag remake is a true massive remake, it ends up being like a game that is like 100 hours or something like that rather than the 30 hours it used to be. Will Ubisoft want to hype that up? Will they want to make a bigger deal about the announcement and the reveal leading up to release than if it was just a smaller remaster, such as what we saw with the Ezio collection back in 2016? If it's an Ezio collection remaster rather than a remake, obviously rumors suggest that's not the case, but if it is, maybe a shadow drop makes more sense. You've got less to actually show, so you might as well just drop the game, let people sink their teeth into it, because it's a smaller scale thing, right? So again, it kind of depends on those two factors. Once more though, all evidence does suggest that this is going to be a full-blown remake. There's been rumors of Edward even having a redesign himself. There's also been rumors of the voice actor for Edward coming back to reprise his role. So if that's all the case, then obviously it's suggesting that this is going to be a full-blown remake. That's not really the question I wanted to ask here. I just want to put that idea or that question to rest. And that's kind of it. I can't really ramble on for much longer, otherwise I would just be wasting your time. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are we going to see the Black Flag remake getting a reveal at the Game Awards this year? Only time will tell, but let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, again, it was a lot more of a chill one, less effort put into this, but again, I just don't have the time. I've got about an hour till I've got to go to work, so I just didn't have the time to edit, but I did want to get this video out. But if you enjoyed it, give it a like, and obviously subscribe if you want more content just like this. I love you guys, mate. The father of understanding guide us. I will see you soon. Goodbye.